This is Andy Tiemann with PennyLoafer, and today I'm talking with Hilary Brown, a program officer at the Hillman Family Foundations. She's our featured guest expert this month. Hilary, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So to start, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and the foundation and its work?
So I am a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's where the Hillman Family Foundation offices are located as well. And I manage 13 of the 18 foundations under the Hillman Family Foundations umbrella. So essentially, Henry and Elsie Hillman were very prominent philanthropists in Pittsburgh. Henry's father actually started the Hillman Foundation. But they really wanted their children and grandchildren to have the opportunity to make their own impact in philanthropy where they lived and affecting the issues that they really felt most passionate about, which is a model that I think is super cool. So that is what I do. So all 13 have their own individually named foundation. We are under one tax ID and do all the administration, but I essentially manage their grant making, completely individual or completely separate from one another. So 3 are in Portland, Oregon, 2 are in California, 3 are in New York City / Connecticut. There's one here in Pittsburgh and one that's kind of national. So in terms of the type of work that we do, again, it really varies. So, with the William Talbot Hillman Foundation, we do everything from arts education to voter rights to gun control and environmental. It's really all over the place. Here in Pittsburgh, the Nina Baldwin Fisher Foundation has played a significant role in helping to stop domestic violence and address domestic violence. So we started the first domestic violence unit here with the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police. In Portland, it's a ton of work in foster care and adoption, as well as environmental and the arts. So I have to know a little about a lot of things and also lean heavily on the expertise of others and other grant-making partners, as well as our wonderful nonprofit sector nationwide.
Thank you for that overview. So Hilary chose the nonprofit for our racial justice cause this month. So tell us about the nonprofit you chose and why you chose it.
So I chose Catapult Greater Pittsburgh. I'll read their tagline just because I think they say it well. So dedicated to economic justice opportunities for individuals seeking generation stability. So essentially, they are looking at poverty with a lens that isn't just simply dollars and cents. They're really looking and helping individuals understand the trauma that growing up in poverty places on a person's life, but also just helping them understand why it exists. And I think that's an important part of a person's journey, just as in terms of the shame and everything else that's associated with not being financially successful. So their model is really impactful in that way. They also meet people on many different parts of their journey. So they start from the basics of, just trying to keep the lights on to buying your first home, to starting a business. And I think in large part why they've been so successful is that Tammy Thompson is the executive director, and she has her own journey through poverty that she really communicates well. She really lets people in to what that was like for her and her family. And she also gives grant makers an opportunity to understand the issue in a deeper way, which I think hasn't always been the case with philanthropy. I think, there's incredible philanthropists and have been for many, many years, but sometimes we're kind of put in this position of, knowing the most in the room, but that's not always the case, especially when it comes to people's experience with poverty in America. So I chose that organization in part because of the partnership that I've enjoyed with them as a funder, and the leadership role they're playing in that space, as well as their programming, is, I think, really changing lives.
Yeah, I'm really excited for our donors to learn about this organization. Obviously, Pittsburgh has a special place in my heart, but just learning more about Tammy Thompson and her work, and having someone who's experienced poverty crafting these programs, I think really makes the difference. So thank you. What's important to you when evaluating a nonprofit? What are you typically looking at?
So the first step for me is really understanding how they've come to their own goals, as well as their program design. So to me, I think that's kind of 3/4 of of the outcomes kind of measurement approach, because it tells me that they understand their population, they understand what's reasonable, what's achievable, and then I really try to keep the door open in terms of what they learn along the way, if things change, if it's not working, and try to be a partner in terms of finding success in that mission.
As you may know, PennyLoafer is named after the pair of shoes that were designed to hold 2 pennies to make an emergency call at a payphone. The idea being that people can use their spare change today to fight some of today's present emergencies like climate change or racial justice. So what's your favorite pair of shoes you've ever owned, and why?
I think my favorite pair of shoes is the navy Doc Martens that I bought when I was 15, almost 16. The only place that would employ me was this very weird telemarketing office. I was in Dormont, the neighborhood I grew up in, and I worked 6 days a week actually there after school and all day on Saturday, and saved up my money not only for the shoes, but to go to Vienna, Austria, where I wore the shoes like every day, and many days after, and just kind of, yeah, they made me feel cool.
Well, Hilary, thank you so much for being here and for being our guest expert and choosing such an amazing nonprofit this month. I'm really excited for our donors to get to learn more about Catapult Greater Pittsburgh and their work. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.